The 2015 Polyglot Gathering is brought to you by italki. Become fluent in any language.
Thank you everybody for being here. Monday, one more to go and we're done. And we close this gathering. So now we are gonna talk about content, okay? So when I learn a language, I'm always looking for content, and lately I've been also creating some. And I want to show you what has been my process and where I got to lately. So how do you do? This is the first time I went to the United States. It was a long time ago, 20 years ago, I'm so old. And so I was in a bar and they asked me like, how do you do? And I looked at them after 8 years of studying English and I answer, how do I do what? So this was my English from, we can blame Italian education system maybe, or we can blame the education system in general. I think it was just that the grammar approach didn't really work very well. So what I did when I came back from the United States, I really wanted to learn English. So my friend, she suggested me, you know, buy this, Friends, the old collection of DVDs, and then you will watch the movie. That's how I learned English, she told me. So I trusted her and I started to see from season 1 to season 10. Okay, so it's 23 episodes, 230 episodes, 23 minutes each. And then I watched it once, and then once again, and then once again, and then I watched it another time. So one day in Rome, I was with my friend, and we met two girls from America that were just next to us, and I could understand them. I was like, wow, what's going on here? I understand these two girls. So I was brave enough to start to talk with them, and I could talk with them. And my friend was like, wow, how do you know English? Where's this coming from? And I think it was coming from Friends. Like, honestly, like, I didn't do anything different. I've just looked all the season here, and then in Rome, I was able to communicate. So, I think Krashen was there. It looked what happened, and then he came out with this input hypothesis. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with this. So, basically, we learn languages. That's what Stephen Krashen hypothesis is. We learn languages when we get input at our level. So there's more than this, but basically just by receiving an input in a foreign language that we can understand, we're able to acquire the language. So it's not so much about the flashcards, the practicing, the speaking, the grammar. It's more about processing the input we get from the environment and then the language we acquire naturally. So this is the theory that it came up after watching the dialogue in Rome. So recently I've been busy with two languages. First I lived in Helsinki for 6 years and now I'm in Lithuania. I've been there for 3 years. And finding content for these two languages is not very easy. There's not really a lot of content in both Finnish and Lithuanian. At least they don't have friends, like a local friends that I could try and see if the hypothesis was true. So I believe that if you're really motivated, almost any kind of content is good. Like if you have enough motivation, there's people in the community that they learn languages by reading the dictionary. I don't have the kind of motivation, I don't have the kind of energy, but if you have it, I think everything is good. So what happens when you don't have motivation? When you don't really feel that day to study and you will love to just get something interesting, like an episode of Friends. Friends, am I pronouncing it correctly? Chris is my mentor. I learned a lot of English words this gathering. So I think it's important that the content is relevant. So basically, I need to be interested. I need to have a sort of interest in this content. It needs to tell me something that I want to know. It must be fun in a way that I'm not just fun as in jokes can be fun, but fun as in engaging, like something that really moves me, and maybe some emotions come up when I consume this content. And then it must be at my level. Of course I can spend time to look words on the dictionary, but if every second word I don't really understand it, then it's just, I really need to have a lot of motivation. And if I don't have it, this is not a good content. Plus, I think what I'm looking for all the time is, how can I find content that is really what actually I already consume in both English and Italian? I don't consume content in Italian anymore. I just my life is in English, and I read about, I don't know, diet. I read about self-help, self-growing, and I'm really interested in this topic. So that's what I'm looking for when I learn another language. So I go to the bookstore, and what do I buy? So there's all these books and DVDs, and now which one would be fun, relevant, at my level? So usually, I think in this room, I don't have to ask if you have read this. In how many languages? I mean, how many have you read it? I believe like almost three languages. So there you go. So I think we've been there. So fairy tales, that's what we go normally, because at least we think there's gonna be easier vocabulary, and kind of we can figure out the story, shouldn't be complicated. But then again, I don't really read fairy tales like in my normal life, in Italian and English, so they are not really interesting for me. Disney movies, this is like, I actually like them. Yesterday night, this is a new slide. I asked around, what do you use when you learn languages? And yeah, like Disney movies, they're really, really nice. They're well made, and yes, they're for kids, but I've seen them in English, so I like actually to consume them in my normal life. So I've consumed them also in Lithuanian and in Finnish. Plus, when you watch movies now, you have the subtitles in English, but also you can have the subtitle with technology now. You can have two subtitles at the same time. So you can even practice two languages at the same time. The audio in a language, subtitles in two different languages. This is possible, and it's really cool. Then of course there is the graded readers, but in Lithuanian and Finnish, I've never tried. Everybody's talking about them. I still haven't tried them because I haven't encountered. These are like the books that basically they start very easy, and then the vocabulary is growing and it matches with your level. But there is a kind of like a small selection, plus they cost some money. Have you ever listened to Radio Maria radio? So this is the religious radio, okay? This is from the Vatican, broadcasted, and it's everywhere in every nation. Now, I don't have a specific religious interest, but I know what they're talking about, and they normally speak in a very easy tempo. Like the audience is normally old, and they really talk like Laba Diana. Shantian, like this would be the Lithuanian one that I've been listening. So what I realized is that it was really easy to understand it. I knew the story already. It's the same story, like for 2016 years. It's been 15, the same story, and so but it's really cool. You can get a lot of vocabulary, and you can learn a lot of religious vocabulary. If you're interested in religion, this is definitely the best content. But then again, is it relevant? Maybe not for everybody. Fun? I don't know. At my level, maybe not all the time. YouTube is another place, a beautiful place to get content. Music, I'm sure when you want to learn a language, you've been looking for music in this language. So you can find all the songs in there for free. I'm not sure if you have ever noticed, but every song, almost every song, they have this kind of videos. Have you encountered them? So these are videos made by fans. So basically what they do, they draw a video literally explaining what's going on. So if there's the sun going down, they just draw the sun going down. While in the real video, there could be somebody kissing. So this actually tells you exactly the story that is going on. They write the title. It's very cool. There's a lot of teenagers doing this professionally, but it's free on YouTube. So very good content. Topics. On YouTube, you can find basically everything. So what I do, I Google what I'm YouTubing, what I'm interested in. Is there a verb to YouTube? I search on YouTube what I'm interested in this case, like carbohydrates. I think I don't eat them very much. So I like when people talk about it, so it gets very emotional because I disagree with them, and I'm forced to really listen, like, what is she saying now? I really disagree. So very good and for free. Again, I like to read about diet, and I like to listen to people talking about diet and health. So I look for this on YouTube. Plus on YouTube, there's plenty of conversation you can listen. You just can search for interview, and then you can find interview of people you like, for example. And it's if you know their story already, it's gonna be very easy to follow, and you can learn a lot of vocabulary. Reality show. Now, I don't really watch reality shows, but what it's interesting, I think that there's a lot of very simple dialogues. Normally, they don't have Nobel Prizes winner in the reality show, so the dialogues are very like everyday dialogues, and it's really very easy. And I found this one. It's called Kitas, that basically means next. So what it is, there is one guy and 5 girls, and this guy is waiting one girl after the other. They speak for 5 minutes, and then either he likes her or not. So there's for 5 minutes they have a dialogue, very simple dialogue, and then he normally says no, next, and then he talks with the camera about this girl, why he didn't like her. So first they have a like say, how do you call this, like a dialogue, and then he tells a story why it doesn't like this girl. So it's very interesting to see the same story from 2 perspectives. Again, I might not watch this in my, let's say, English or Italian, but it's very interesting and very short also to get a lot of everyday life vocabularies. On YouTube also, it's full of people like us. You probably have a channel already where you like speak in some weird language and or your native language. So for Lithuanian, there's this girl, Kristina. She made like tons of videos where she like explain how do you say I love you in Lithuanian, and she got like 53,000 people. These are 81,000. So there's a lot of nice people that they want to help. So when I go here, these are very, very interesting. But then again, are they fun? Are they relevant? Do they talk about things I'm interested? And are they on my level? Not always. Most of the time, these videos, they're either like they explain Aš myliu tave. And it's like, I love you, but you know, if I'm not at that level, it's too easy for me. So 50% of the time is too easy, and the other 50% is just too complicated. And there's a tiny 0.0001% that is like, wow, this is really good video. So there's a lot of time that I'm frustrated. The news, I'm sure you have like a RSS feed that you read in other languages. So it's really cool, you read the news. Sometimes you're actually in the news. So it's very easy to read when they talk about you. This is another story, another talk that we will do next time. But in Lithuania, we made some noise, let's say, in the media. Again, fun, not really when I'm in the news at least. Relevant at my level, it's always tricky. So I spend like a lot of time looking for this beautiful content. And my confidence, it doesn't really help my confidence to grow, because every time there's something that is too hard, then I get frustrated. It's like, wow, I've been investing so much time. I've been living in Lithuania for 3 years and I cannot read this. Like, and children can read this. Like, it's kind of frustrating. So content can really help to boost the confidence when it's the right kind of content. E+1. So this is the theory. You get I+1. E+1 is in Italian. You get like input that is at your level +1. So there's a slightly extra word that you don't know, and you still get the sense of this content. So there's a video where you don't know a word, you still understand everything, and you can kind of figure it out what that extra word is. Most of the time though, it's like I +1000. So you don't understand everything, and Christian is not very happy. And of course, this content is also expensive, and then I'm not very happy because I'm spending a lot of time. I buy a lot of movies and books, and then I don't read them. I don't go over the first page or like the first 3 minutes. So there's a lot of resources, a lot of time and money invested in looking for content that could be interesting. So where do we find this good content? Well, I have an answer. I've been working on this answer for 2 years, and I think one of the answers, at least, is BlueBlue. That it's a software I've been working. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this. I see some familiar users, some of you that might be not. But so what I've been working on BlueBlue, it's something very simple to provide content that could be fun, relevant, at my level. So I want to explain to you in the beginning how it works. So let's say you have this book that maybe you don't know this. It's a new book. It just came last year. And so in the beginning, BlueBlue doesn't know what you know. So everything is red. Red means you don't know it. So what you do, you click, and you say, no, I know this word. These are very easy. So now the system is smart enough to actually predict that because you know this, also you might know other words. So you don't have to click every single word. So this is like how you will see the books. Then, if you don't know a word, you can click, you can translate it, you say it's easy. So this is like also phrases translation. This is like pretty standard. Now, if you go next on a book, you go from page 1 to page 2. This is how we read books, okay? Until you get to page 80 and you finish the book. This is the normal order of things. So if we think of a YouTube playlist, these are my videos in Italian. I made them to teach Italian. Now you could consume them from video number 1, then you go next number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But this kind of violates the Crescent rule that it must be like input plus 1. So instead, we put them into BlueBlue, and now, of course, you see the transcription, so it becomes easier to understand the video. You see immediately what you don't understand. You can click, you can see the translation, you can say it's easy or difficult. This is like, so this is standard. So now when you go next, what do you get? Normally on YouTube, you will get the next video that, who knows, it might be at your level, maybe not. So we thought, why we don't change this? So now when you go next, you get a video in Italian that we know that you know everything. So you have clicked these words already before. So we know that you might not still understand this because, you know, there's phrases. Sometimes if you know take and off in English, still you don't know take off. But this is like a sort of, we're working on this, but still if you know what take and off means, now sometimes it's easier to understand when they're combined together. So you always get the input plus 1. This was the rule. Sometimes you get plus 2, 3, 4, but never plus 1,000. So it's never over your level that you can now handle it. This is at least the dream, and this is what we deliver most of the time on the system. And how do we make relevant? So now what we're starting to do is to combine these videos into playlists based on topics. So if you want to watch videos about business or fashion, now we're starting about things related to morning. So if you click here, there's going to be breakfast, people waking up, people not finding clothes. Good afternoon, it's like lunchtime, people working too much, not time for lunch. Oh my God, I need to go to the gym. Good evening, people going for a date, dinner, going to sleep, and so on. So you know already what you're going to find. Of course, jokes, music videos, and quotes. So you know already what's coming in there. Plus, when you go next, you have this input plus 1 condition. Now we're starting to work on total beginner. So if you're a total beginner now, you get this video and transcription, and everything it's pointed very clearly. So we make sort of 50 videos for every language. We try to get to this level where we point at like, my name is Claudio. Very, very easy. Just so we have it in German. I'm learning a little bit of German. And still, now Martin is saying, today we speak German. Today is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. So it's this video is, I don't know any German, but this video is fun and I understand what he's saying. Just by translating this, I understood whatever else was coming, just from one word. So you start to build. Plus, we use a lot of cognates. So what I'm thinking is that if you study Lithuanian, there's a lot of words that they don't really mean anything, but there's a bunch of 1,000, 2,000 words, same with Russian, that they're the same in English. So we're using them more in purpose. So just to make sure that in the beginning you really get, if you're learning Italian and I say giornalista, giornale, Parlamento, presidente, film, hotel, hotel, in Italian we don't pronounce the H. These are words that you know, informazione, nazione, so you build a lot of vocabulary and at the same time it becomes very easy to learn the pronunciation of Italian because presidente, you just need to change a little bit from president. So it's just a slightly change that teaches you how to pronounce like Italian in general. We have Lithuanian, again, cappuccino, like it's pretty much like there's lots of international words in every language. Example in Lithuanian again, paukščiukai, crocodilus. Like one is birds, and one is crocodile. Now I know you don't find a lot of crocodiles in Lithuania, but still if you start learning Lithuanian using a lot of words like this, it's really easier to grasp the pronunciation, how they use the vowels, how do they make switches between consonant and so on and so on. So in the beginning when you know nothing about the language, still you can understand content very easily, like even like big stories, and learn how is it pronounced. So in the beginning we really push you like to learn, not push you, but we help you to learn how to read, how to pronounce, by accident, because together with the cognates you have this high frequency word, so you learn them just because you understand what's going on, and then the structures of the languages start to emerge, and you start to anticipate that, okay, that's how they put the subject, that's what's going on in the language. Then we add another layer. This is the artificial content we make. So the easy content, we make stories now, not videos, just text and audio. Again, we use a lot of cognates. Can you guess what this is? If you can read it though? Tourist. Like this is, you know, in Lithuania. The other one, I'm not sure, but I guess if this is a tourist now, this is probably gonna be citizen, like I don't even know the English version, but you know, like cittadino in Italian would be like somebody that is local. Maybe that's what it meant, local. But now this dialogue, that's the only word I don't know. So this dialogue, it's very easy. I can play the audio, I can put the thing in my pocket and just listen to this. It's very easy. And when I go next, there's another one at the same level. This is in Italian, I just read a story, there's a phone call. And this is in Swedish. So I'm testing this is my actual knowledge. So you can actually see also, that's the beauty. You can see how much Swedish I know and how much Swedish I don't know. So that's beautiful also. If you're helping somebody, you have an X-ray of their knowledge. Now with this kind of thing, you can build your words very fast. So you start to learn a lot of words very fast. But I don't really want to have easy content. I mean, what I want to get access is the real content. This conversation, this is a real conversation happening randomly on the street. That's what I want to be able to understand. Not exactly this conversation maybe, but in general, like when I walk on the street, that's what I want to understand. So now what we're doing, we're putting real content into BlueBlue. So meaning videos of natives talking at a normal tempo about normal things, not just using crocodiles, but like real things. So we speak, the video must be interesting. That's at least my L1 equal L2. So the video must be a video that if I make it in Italian, it should be interesting also for my friends that live in Italy. They live in Italy, they should watch it and like it. So we put dialogues, monologue, conversation, just to make sure that we get exposed as students to different kind of, you know, angle of the conversation. Like monologues would be me talking to myself, dialogues, there's a conversation, and then we put stories. Medium to fast tempo, meaning that I'm not trying to speak like this, you know, it's too fast, but we will speak to a tempo that will be perceived as a native tempo and still like cool. So when somebody talks to me like, ciao, io sono Claudio, doesn't make me feel cool. You know, I don't feel that I am somewhere with my language skills. So we use a tempo that it will be perceived from a native point of view like a normal tempo. These are some of the stories. We have Russian, again, my real knowledge, German, and when you go next, you get a video. Now, my German is not very good, so the real content is still too hard for me, but still, when I listen to this video, I can understand what's going on. There's also the video helping. Swedish again, they show the olive oil, I understand what's going on, and it's very entertaining, I will say. It's so entertaining that sometimes you forget that this is in another language. This is what Krashen was saying. So the point is that when you read something in a foreign language and you can forget that you're reading this in another language, that's when the content is successful and that's when the learning is happening. So that's what we're aiming for. Now I want to show you this input +1 in action for Lithuanian. So this would be a text that I read. There's only one word that I don't know. I click next. There's another text. Now there's 3 words that I don't know, but actually that one I know. So I will click it and switch it. I go next. Another text I can play. I look at that. Yeah, okay, actually I know this one. I go next. There's another one. So I've been exposed. This would be a 10 minutes experience when I'm listening to 3, 4, 5 interesting dialogues, and I get exposed to a lot of words that I already know that are now combined in a different way. Maybe declension is different. They will use it in the past, in the future, negative. But still I know these words, so they make it very easy to acquire like the other ones. Okay, another video, so 12 minutes. But does it work? You know, do you actually learn the language? This is, okay, it's fun. You watch all this text and videos. Is it really useful? So at least Krashen says that, you know, talking is not practicing. So when you speak in the target language, this doesn't result in language acquisition. This is the theory. So speaking indirectly assists the language acquisition. So the ability to speak, it's not the cause of language learning. The language learning and acquisition, it's happening when you get comprehensible input. So, and the output, the fact that you speak, it's just the effect of the language learning. So this is the theory. When you come to BlueBlue, all the users, they've been complaining. Okay, I can recognize 1,000 words. Too bad it's only passive recognition. Well, at least it's some kind of progress. So that's how you feel. At least you feel on BlueBlue that when you go next, you really understand a lot. When you open the newspaper, you understand a lot. But then you don't know, can you speak? This is the big thing that we need to prove. That some of our students actually, they went to Rome on a holiday, now during these challenges we're having for Italian. And she replied to that guy, so this was the comment, she replied to this was April 24, so a few days ago. She replied by saying, well, I felt the same way. I thought it was only passive vocabulary, but I've been in Rome for 48 hours now, and I can actually make myself understood, and I can order at the restaurant and so on. So what happens now is that people, after you've been exposed to content that is fun at your level without studying Italian, I don't know if they're studying, at least they don't, on BlueBlue we don't have any grammar. So they go to Rome, they do understand what Italians are saying, and they're able to speak in broken Italian at least. But they feel confident because they can get the food, they understand what they answer, you know. So this is the experience that they're looking for. Maybe they're not obsessed with speaking correctly, because you wouldn't get this, but at least I hope that's what we want to prove, that the correction, you will be able to speak better, but at least you can understand a lot. So now I'm sort of here because I want your help. I want your help here. So actually I will put you to work soon. So the point is that I can make the videos in Italian, and I'm tempted to make them in English, but I won't because my English is horrible. It's like, well, I like it, I'm very good, but I'm still learning and improving my English. So I'm really looking for like more videos for every language, like even Klingon, Esperanto, and Toquepona. I mean, is there any Toquepona native here? Fluent, there you go. So if we could if you want to learn a language, this is the other thing. If you want to learn a language and you have a friend that speaks this language as a native, we can put 10 videos on the system. And if everybody has a friend, and we can put 10 more videos now, we have 1,000 videos in Toquepona or Klingon or French or German or Swedish. And then we can show that actually the input hypothesis works. So the famous 10,000 hours, okay? Why children are so good with languages? Well, because they spend maybe, this is one of the theory at least, so much time exposed to the language at their level. So they have time to develop like the language skill, to acquire it. As an adult, we don't really spend, there's a lot of time, 10,000 hours is a lot of time. So if we invest 1 hour a day, that's like 10,000 days. So how many years? Like it's a lot of time to become fluent in a language. But maybe we can accelerate this. So if we have content that is really optimized at your level, maybe we can beat this. So this is, many research said that you need 10,000 hours to acquire skills at a very good level. Maybe if the practice you get is very good, maybe this number can be even lower. So the campaign is donate a video. Like if you can talk on the phone, this is a video of me talking for 46 seconds. This is very valuable. If you're learning Italian, not because it's me, probably if it would be somewhere else, it would be more valuable. But it's really cool when you can see a video from a native and you can understand everything. So it's really just 30 seconds, very short, about anything you like. So you could really talk about your language course. You can really talk about your city, your hobby, your business. It doesn't matter, because if it's relevant for the user, if you play the guitar and you want to make a video about how to play the guitar, that's beautiful, because I will watch this in Russian or Swedish or English, and then I will learn new vocabulary. But at the same time, I will be able to understand this video and unconsciously acquire the language. Transcription has been a bit painful. It's easy to make a video for 30 seconds. Transcribe it, it's more complicated. So what we're doing now, we're putting the links on a Google Doc. This is, I don't know if you have a better version, a better idea, but this is how I've been transcribing. So I put a link here, and then I have 4 or 5 students that they are learning Spanish in this case, and then they all transcribe and correct each other. So it's a sort of exercise also you can do, and there's somebody else doing, so you can see your mistakes. And at the same time, we transcribe a video, because to me, the fact that in English there's so many videos with subtitles and in many other languages you don't have this is the limitation. That's why it's so hard to learn these other languages. In Lithuanian, I cannot find anything with subtitles. So now, if I cannot find it, I'm creating it. That's what I'm doing. Stories also plus audio. It's audio, Chris. Am I pronouncing correctly?
Audio.
Audio. I pronounce it audio because my name is Claudio. So I think it's just okay. I learned it yesterday. It's good. So stories plus audio, meaning like this kind of story. Christina, she's the girl I showed you before. She had this video channel on YouTube. She really wanted to help a lot of people. And I told her that you can make a difference. So now she's actually running the Lithuanian group in my website. And this is what she's writing, like a story about the phone ringing and somebody's asking why you didn't come to work. Sorry, who's calling, blah, 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 blah. So it's, I read this, it's very interesting. And I know now this is boss. It's boss, but I'm not really sure, so that's why I'm leaving it red, so I can focus very clearly on my weaknesses, let's say, but still I get all the interesting content, and I really enjoyed it. So, thank you very much. This is the email if you want to help me, and of course, if you have something that you want to ask, if you have question, I'm here. Also, I cannot pronounce question, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Claudio. For those of us here who are interested, like me, in making some videos and being part of this process, could you tell us more about what kind of language we should use? Should we be focusing on, because in English you can speak in a way that foreigners can understand on purpose, like just slightly slower, or you can speak like you would with a friend and anybody that isn't, a high enough level can understand?
Yeah, so on, I'll go back some slides. So now the interface also will change. So I'm making in Italian like a little amount of videos that they're very easy. So there we go. So when you click here, this is where you get the very slow, the very slow Italian, very easy. The like everything it's pointed and explained, and like it's. These are my lips, very slow, pointing at everything. So you really need to make sure that you cannot say, I had a good coffee today. If you had a good coffee, you need to show like, say this is coffee. I had a good coffee today. Like showing, so this is a specific kind of video. So this video, very easy, pointing and showing and slow. And then the other ones is normal as you would talk to me. So still not maybe super native, but like as relaxed as possible without thinking of should I make it slow, easy, natural. Because if it's too hard in terms of vocabulary, if there's 3 words that I don't understand, BlueBlue will not show it to me, but it will show another one. So if you use, I don't know the words I don't know, so I cannot make an example. That's very, but BlueBlue will know, so that's the good part. Did I answer?
Yeah. Hello. This comment is a little bit self-serving. One place you can get transcriptions if you don't know the language very well or you just don't understand some things is you can go to Rhino Spike, you can post a YouTube video, and people who do speak the language can transcribe it for you. So that may be helpful for your cause here.
Where?
rhinospike.com.
Okay, so definitely we should integrate because this is, I think, the power of what I haven't used it enough. But what I don't like about, let's say, live mocha, at the time was that if I put a text and somebody recorded, that text is only for me. So it's a sort of waste of recording. That's how I perceive it all the time. So I always wished that, I'm sure 20,000 people before me that have studied Lithuanian on this website and they have friends that they've recorded something for them and I will want to read it. So that's when we can integrate probably, and you got the power of the user to do this, and then we can show this input plus 1. Definitely.
I have a short comment because I think that with music it's quite difficult to learn languages because in every language I can speak and understand. When I hear music, it's always much harder to understand, and I think that in music they quite often use not very usual vocabulary and not very usual word order for music, and it makes harder to understand, and it makes music less useful in the real life, because in the real life you do not talk like people talk in the music. Yes.
Definitely, that is true. But music, there's so many people interested in music that this is an important part. As we listen a lot of music normally, I would say, and I'm anyway interested in consuming music and the languages I'm studying. I really like that now if I click here, it gives me the song with 95% or more matches with vocabulary. So it's a song that it's easier than a random song that I will like find if I go on YouTube. So I also can tell you that I know a lot of phrases. When I meet somebody in Russian now, I go like this, like невозможно, нереально, что случится между нами. This is from a song, okay? Now I've pronounced maybe wrong something, but like this is very helpful, and it's from a song. I kind of readapted it, and I built pieces from I definitely don't. I know this because Italian, they know a lot of song, but then they don't speak English still. So just the songs, they're not enough to learn the language. The words are different, but still they have a beautiful value.
Yes, and one more question. What happens if I mark some word as I know this word, but then after a while I forget this word?
So you will click it, that you bring it red again. You make it red again. Now, BlueBlue knows that you knew it before, you don't know it now. So you will be in a list called struggling words, or words that you forgot. So you can go back there and you can review them. Plus, if they're really frequent words, BlueBlue will make sure that you see them again. If you forget like crocodile, maybe it's not a big deal in Lithuania. If you forget birds, it's more important, especially if you're interested in the topic. So it depends how frequent is the word and if you're really interested in the subject. But definitely we track that you forgot it, and you can see in a list, these are the words that I knew and I don't know why.
Can you tell us how it works for other languages that are not using Latin alphabet, so Chinese, for example?
So Chinese, that's what we have like I don't know any Chinese. That's interesting that I think what I like to brag about it is that I don't know most of the languages we have in the system, but I've put all the content in there. So sometimes people tell me like Chinese, you know you're mixing traditional with like simplified Chinese. Well, I didn't know even that this distinction existed before putting this, it looked Chinese to me, and I just put it in there. So, and I can tell you about Arabic. So, the first client we have in Arabic, he wrote us a message that I know by heart. Well, I knew by heart at least. So it says like, after using BlueBlue for a few weeks, the decision to subscribe was not a difficult one. So now I can understand news on the TV in Arabic. But he wrote to me an email a few days before telling me, please, can you align Arabic on the other side? Like, that's so, it works. With Chinese, we have a different problem. That is the words, how they are combined. Okay, so when you put the two characters together, the two symbols, the two, how they're called?
Radical.
Yeah, when you put them together, sometimes the meaning changes. So if you know one, the two together, it shouldn't be. But this is a parsing thing that actually can be solved with software. So this is like, we're not there yet with Chinese. That's also what we need help, because I cannot do this. I taught BlueBlue the Russian grammar. I just found the ending on Wikipedia and I feed it to the system, and definitely can be improved, as I don't really know Russian, but I was able to teach the system the grammar, so then it could teach me Russian. So that's the interesting part. It's a really powerful tool that the more you optimize it, the better it gets.
Two related questions. If you're already at a, let's say, a somewhat, higher intermediate level for a language, and you already know a few thousand words, does that mean you have to click thousands of, like?
No, that's what I said. That's what I said. So when you come to the system, first you do a level test. We show you 1, 2, 3, 5 words. So Fibonacci sequence. I don't know what makes sense, but like I thought it was cool. So you see like a bunch of words. It takes a minute, and by what you click, we do two kind of presumptions. So first, what languages do you know already? Because if you know English, you already know half of the Italian words. Plus, if you know gettare in Italian, you probably know a lot of words that they're less frequent than this, because this is a not very frequent, not a word friend. So if you know this and a bunch of other words, we don't let you click the other ones. But so this is a prediction. The first time we show you a text, this might be predicted that you know, just because it's similar to Monday, let's say, okay? So, but if you click that you don't know this, now we think that, oh, maybe we predicted wrong, you're probably a bit lower. But we make this prediction on the single words, so it's not just beginner, intermediate, advanced, it's just more than this.
So, because you were asking for videos in other languages, so the system has to have kind of an advanced knowledge of the language, including word frequency and a word stemmer and things like that. For a new
Yes.
language,
Yes.
how would it be able to make?
So when
those
you put
decisions?
if you put a text in Italian, they would say like Claudio gioca a carte. Okay, so we know that Claudio is a name, so it's not clickable. Gioca is like the present of giocare. So when you over actually the word, it will tell you it comes from this. You don't have to do this work. We have done it. So we recognize this, and we know already the frequency of every single word. If it's a cognate, we know that this is going to be already known for an English speaker. So you don't need to know this when you make the video. This is already in the system.
Right. No, sorry. I meant right. You did that for Italian, but let's say I do a video in Yiddish. So your system probably doesn't know Yiddish. How would it know which words?
So we know the frequency for sure. We know we might not know the cognates now, but if you want to help us with this, we have an interface. So what we have done, we have told the system, like, please match words that they look similar. So I have 50,000 Russian words, like, I don't know, maybe it's not 50, but thousands of words, Portuguese, every language, connected with English. So you can see problema, problem. And I need only a native or somebody fluent to confirm, because otherwise, if I do it, I might make the mistake and connect something that is just actually a false friend. So that's what I do this only for languages that I'm very good at, or at least I think I am. But languages I don't really know, I don't go that far. But this is in the system, so we can teach all the cognates, we can teach the grammar. Judith actually, she's not here, but she made the grammar system for BlueBlue. So we have a natural way to teach the grammar to the system. And we do have Yiddish.
You were saying that you have books on there as well. People can upload books.
You can
is that
upload
right?
your own books, and also we want to find, again, I try to find freely available books, but most of the time they're freely available, they're very old, so they're not
Yeah.
really useful.
Because that was my question was about copyright. How do you?
No,
get
so
around
we
that?
have we have a lot of stuff that is freely available. Let's say Constitution of Italy, like this is freely available. We have like some classic that has been like readapted. They're free, so we have a lot of stuff that you can find freely available on the internet. Plus, you can upload your own things. Plus, in the future, why not? Maybe we get an agreement with some like publisher and we start to publish books in there. But for now, we have a minimum amount. Again, not for all languages, because for like Russian, I don't know what's a good book. I don't have that knowledge in Russian, but users suggest us, and sometimes we have been like, you know, you can put this in Danish, this is a good one and it's free, and then we put it available for everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Claudio. It was really interesting to me as a teacher of Italian, and I was really interested about the way you talked about Krashen and the input hypothesis as well. And I just wanted to tell you that I got 2 books about learning English for Italians that I have already also recorded as an audio, and I'm going to give them for free.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Wow, I like it. Thank you very much.
Yes, hi, I'm here. I have 2 basic questions.
I want to say just one little thing, a powerful thing. If I'm studying Russian, the beautiful thing is also that you will go to my profile and you can see the 10 words that I'm struggling with. Now imagine how powerful, if you know the 10 words I'm struggling with and I don't have to tell you, you can actually chat with me on HelloTalk or iTalk or whatever it is, and you know already my 10 most painful words. So you could kind of gently use them so that next time I see them on BlueBlue, then I'll go, I've recognized this from the talk.
Yes, my 2 questions are more basic. It's about the business model of the site, and second question related is there a price? Is it free or is there a price? to subscribe?
So, the website is free for 5 minutes, then you need to wait 5 more minutes, and then it's free again for 5 minutes. So you can use it for free quite a long time if you want to. Plus, if you give us your voice or your videos, it's premium forever. I mean, this is like, we want to really work with people passionate. So this is one way. If you don't like the interruptions, then it costs like 60 euro per 1 year. So it's very cheap. What we're doing now, it's a different thing. So we make language challenges. What happens is that you sign up and it's 60 euro and you get 1 year premium, so it's the same price. But on top of this, you get 1 month of coaching. So there will be a native person in Russian, in Swedish, in Tokipona, in whatever. So this native person is with you in the Facebook group. Now together, it helps you to get unstuck with the basis to grow, and just he has to motivate you. So it will make like a video every day to tell you in English, just come on, like it's just 10 minutes. Go for it. Because if they do this 10 minutes a day, their comprehension really expands. So now we go with basic subscription or with this like 30 days challenges that they've been working very well. Also because as a polyglot, somebody knowing a lot of language, you can really get some good money, I will say, because people are willing to pay for guidance, and all you have to do is really just make a daily video where you motivate them, you tell something interesting about the language, because the content is already on the system. Maybe you have made the stories before and you don't have to write them again and again and again.
The last question.
Where does the name come from?
I'll go back a little bit. So the name comes from, I'll go here. The name comes from this guy's, well, the French guys, okay? There was an episode where Joy is learning French. Not sure if you're familiar with French, but in that episode, it doesn't really speak French, so je m'appelle Joy. And then when you go like, je m'appelle Joy, je la BlueBlue. So it doesn't really speak French, but he's convinced that it speaks French. So the way he speaks is like, je la bleu, la bleu, la bleu, la. But he's so convinced, compared to me speaking at the time Lithuanian, that was like, getting smaller and smaller, and Joy was getting bigger and bigger. So my idea was that confidence is really the key. And to me, that thing, BlueBlue, was connected with confidence. Like it's a confident way to handle languages, not that I need to study a bit more before I talk with this person. No, you can already talk with this person, even if you don't know a word. Doesn't matter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.